How's everyone doing today? It's your boy JJ Domination, and today we have a little bit of a two-part video for you today. One part will be talking about some news that literally happened an hour ago prior to recording, and it has to do with Ezekiel Elliott. And then the other part will be my NFL awards predictions, which, by the way, I'm not really good at predicting things, so don't take it too seriously, but I am going to try my best before any narratives happen throughout the season of what could possibly be the award winners. But first, let's talk about Ezekiel Elliott, man. Ezekiel Elliott, just an hour ago, is going to get a 6-year extension worth $90 million, and that includes $50 million guaranteed, which I'm pretty sure is $8 million more than what Todd Gurley got on his big extension for the Los Angeles Rams. Now, my initial thoughts on this is why? Why did you give this man basically 8 more years to be with the Cowboys? He's 24 years old. By the time his contract expires, he will be 32 years old. To put that into perspective, LaShawn McCoy, who just got picked up off the street to go play with Andy Reid in Kansas City, is 31 years old, and he's already on his 3rd NFL team. And I know that really doesn't mean much for Ezekiel Elliott in terms of, well, what the hell does that have to do with Zeke? But it just puts into perspective what a 31-year-old running back looks like in the NFL, a good 31-year-old running back. And that's LaShawn McCoy, who's on his 3rd team, who got cut this preseason and basically had to sign for $3 million per year, which could turn into $4 million. So Ezekiel Elliott is basically going to be under contract for the rest of his career, unless somehow he hops into the fountain of youth at the age of 32 years old. But number one, congratulations to Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not going to sit here and hamper on the contract. I mean, the dude got paid. That's what he was trying to do, and he finally accomplished that right before the regular season starts. It was reported yesterday that Jerry Jones wanted to get this deal done within the next 24 hours so they could have Ezekiel Elliott out there and ready to play for Week 1 against the New York Giants. And it's not like he's some new free agent coming in like Jadeveon Clowney for the Seattle Seahawks. He knows the playbook because it's centered around him. So it's not like he really needs to sit down and kind of learn the ropes and everything. Like, he knows what to do, so it's not really that big of a deal for him. But Ezekiel Elliott, man, I mean, he's the highest paid running back now. Congratulations to him. For Dallas, this is the one contract I disagree with. I don't care how good of a running back you are, you can't give him a 6-year extension. You just can't. Anything can happen between now and, I don't know, 2025 or whenever the hell that contract will be up. Anything can happen. Ezekiel Elliott could decide to retire from football at an early age. Ezekiel Elliott could be beaten up, battered, and bruised throughout his career, and he's probably washed up by the time he's 30. Like, anything can happen with Ezekiel Elliott, between now and the end of the 8-year extension, or the end of the 6-year extension, which is basically 8 years, because he still has this season to play, and he has what would essentially be his 5th-year option next season. So by the time Ezekiel Elliott's 32, I mean, will he even be in the league? And that's a real question, because a guy like LaShawn McCoy, who I keep using as an example, he got cut. And yes, he did warrant a lot of interest, but what if he didn't? What if the league was like, nah, fam, your time has passed? And look at DeMarco Murray, who was like the last good, running back for this team before Ezekiel Elliott arrived on the scene. He was basically put out of the league by the time he was 29 or 30 years old. And he was a pretty good running back. He actually had a decent year with the Tennessee Titans, but yet the league was like, no, we're done. You're done, and we're done. So anything can happen to Ezekiel Elliott. I guess that's the bottom line of what I'm trying to say. I don't really like this deal for Dallas. I think they just handicapped themselves and what they can do. It feels like the Rams kind of did the same thing. At least they were able to extend Jared Goff as well, which I guess we could talk about that now. since it's on the top of my mind. It's a big deal. They extended Jared Goff to a 4-year, $134 million deal, $110 million guaranteed, the most guarantees for a quarterback ever. But if you look at the per year, base salary and the cap hit, it's very similar to what Carson Wentz got. The only difference is the guaranteed money, which is really a $2.5 million difference. It's not like, he got $12 million more than Carson Wentz. I mean, it's a little significant, boost, I guess, to guaranteed money. But it's a good deal, for the Rams. They locked up their quarterback. It puts more pressure on Dallas to figure out what Dak Prescott's worth, because the other two pretty good quarterbacks from his draft class all got extensions. The only guy that hasn't is Dak Prescott, so it puts more pressure on the organization. So we'll have to wait and see how the Cowboys handle that. Not to mention, they still got to pay Amari Cooper. They still got to pay Byron Jones. If they don't pay one of the 10 best corners from last season, they're stupid. I don't care. You can have your running back for 8 years. You better pay Byron Jones. You better give that man a 3 or 4 year extension, because it is hard to have a top 10 to top 12 corner in this league. And if you don't pay him, you are going to regret it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have all the pass rushers in the world. If you don't have at least one corner that can hold it down for you, then you're screwed. Period. I mean, that's just how it is. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this little portion of me talking about some of the contract extensions and talking about what could happen with Dak and stuff. Now we're going to get to the real part of the program, which is the NFL awards predictions. And we are back here, ladies and gentlemen, at the player management screen, showing you all the players from Madden 20. This is more of a talking bit right here, but I'm going to go ahead and go over my 2019-2020 NFL awards predictions now. The only rule that I gave myself is I had to pick 2 candidates per each award. Some people do 3 or a top 5, or they just flat out give you the winner. I suck at predictions. I'm just going to keep it real. I probably have like a 55% success rate with predicting games, awards, and stuff like that. So you can't really take my stuff seriously, but I try to give myself a good chance every year, and I'm hoping that I could be right about some of these. A lot of variables happen, a lot of stuff happens. It's a long season, but nonetheless, I'm just gonna try my best, man. So we're gonna start off with one of my favorite awards. It's the AP Comeback Player of the Year. These are guys who probably missed the season of action, and they are coming back into the fold. So one of the players that I'm going to go with for this award is Odell Beckham Jr. Now, he did miss 8 games last season. He's missed 16 games, in the last 2 seasons. I just feel like with Cleveland, he's going to ball out, man. And I think he's going to put up an impressive stat line, and one that would warrant the Comeback Player of the Year. He's a very good receiver, top 5 for sure. Some people don't even have him in the top 5, which I think is kind of disrespectful, because I think people really forget what he can do. Regardless of who I think is better than him, it's irrelevant. He's top 5, and that's all that really matters. I think people forget how good Odell Beckham Jr. is. I'm pretty sure he's the 4th ranked wide receiver in Madden. That's about where I'd have him, 3rd or 4th. I think that's appropriate. But I think he's going to remind people how good he is. And then we're going to go to a division rival. We're going to go to the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm going to go with Earl Thomas. This is a guy who broke his leg for Seattle, and I think he's coming into a very good situation. A young defense, and he is the captain, the heart, and the soul, in my opinion. He's going to be the Ed Reed of this defense. It's not really a crazy statement either. I think Earl Thomas is a fantastic player at his position, and he can definitely come in and fill that void easily that Eric Weddle left behind, because he's a way better upgraded version of Eric Weddle. Earl Thomas, to me, is going to come in. He's going to be the captain of this defense, and I think he's in for a very good year, and almost like a little bit of a rejuvenated year, almost like a resurgence. I know I'm sounding like I'm putting a lot of high praise on Earl Thomas. He's just that great of a player. I think him and Odell Beckham Jr. are in for some crazy years. Some notable mentions that I did have listed, of course, were Le'Veon Bell and Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't really feel like I need to talk about those a whole lot. You guys pretty much know why. They missed a lot of football. but I just had to throw him on here so that way, give them a little bit of a shout out. But now we're going to go to the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year. There's really only two options, in my opinion. And number one, we are going to start off with Kyler Murray. That's right, the former Heisman winner, coming into the NFL as the number one overall pick. Everyone's kind of bashing him because of the fact that he's like 5'10". He's really probably like 5'9". I think people are looking way too much into that. When you're in an offense that requires you to take a 3, 5, 7 foot, 7-step drop back, I should say, and you're in the shotgun formation a lot, like, you can see over those offensive linemen. I think people really overreact to that stuff. And as a former offensive lineman, even though granted it was like 8th grade, it's a long ass time ago for me, but still, I had a quarterback that was probably 2 or 3 inches shorter than me, but he could still see over the offensive line. It was nothing major. So Kyler Murray's definitely going to be fine. And I think people who don't play football, kind of overreact to the whole, Kyler Murray's 5'9". I can't help that he's not 6'4", 235 pounds, and a glorified pocket passer. What do you want me to do? It's a new age, and I think Kyler Murray is going to bring some juice to this Arizona Cardinals offense. And I think naturally, being the only rookie quarterback that's starting week 1 and who's going to play, all 16 games, hoping, knock on wood that he doesn't get hurt, he's easily going to win this award most likely. But I did pick a second candidate. And that is going to be Josh Jacobs. I think Josh Jacobs can definitely win this award right here. I know on Madden's depth chart he's listed as the 3rd running back. Crowell's injured, and Josh Jacobs is going to be that guy. Jalen Richard is probably going to be the change of pace receiving back. But Josh Jacobs is going to be, the upside guy who could be a 3-down back. I'm very excited to see what he does. I don't think he was worth a first-round pick. I don't think there was a running back in this class, or a receiver for that matter, worth a first-round pick. But the Patriots can get away with shit like that because they're the Patriots, and they kind of know what they're doing. But when it comes to the Raiders, who basically, this was the pick that they used, that they received in the Khalil Mack trade, this guy has to be a generation. This guy has to be Saquon Barkley-esque in terms of being that great of a talent, or else it's really not that great of a decision, because this was the pick that they got from the Chicago Bears for Khalil Mack. Of course, they got a second-round pick swap and another first-round pick, but what I'm saying is Josh Jacobs better be damn good, and I'm picking him to be an Offensive Rookie of the Year potentially. AP Defensive Rookie of the Year, we're gonna go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we are going to go with Devin Bush, man. I'm very excited to see what Devin Bush can do. Shazier's injured. Vince Williams is going to be more of a specialist, more of a run-stopping guy. But Devin Bush, man, very excited to see this guy play. More of a coverage linebacker. That was kind of his reputation at Michigan. A little undersized, I guess you could say, since everyone else is going to complain about undersized. He's basically 5'11". It says his weight and stuff up there. I think Devin Bush is going to be fine. I think he's going to be a terrific player. Great future ahead of him. He's a coverage linebacker, he strides in coverage. He's a pretty good sideline-to-sideline guy as well. I think Devin Bush is going to be in for a crazy year. Is he going to be Darius Leonard crazy with all the tackles and the sacks? Probably not, but I think he's going to be in for a pretty good year. And then my other rookie nomination, man, it's Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver is just a freak of nature. If you guys don't know who he is, go check out his tape. You should know who these guys are. They were both top 10 picks. Number 9 overall for Ed Oliver. Number 10 overall for Devin Bush. I'm not going to lie, this was very tough. There's a lot of defensive players I really like in this draft. But these were the two that I think realistically could win that award. These are the two that I'm most higher on for this award, especially Ed Oliver. He's just one of my dudes. And he kind of reminds me a little bit of Grady Jarrett. There's definitely some upside there with him. I know it's here I am going out on a limb, calling this guy Grady Jarrett. But seriously, I think there are some things there that remind me of Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett's a little undersized in terms of being a little bit of a smaller D tackle, but man, he's got the pass rushing moves. And I think Ed Oliver's going to be a stud someday, so watch out. Now for the Pepsi NFL Rookie of the Year. So basically, you pick your offensive and your defensive Rookie of the Year. Now you just have to pick straight up who's going to be the Rookie of the Year. And I got to go with Kyler Murray. You know, it's going to be hard for a quarterback not to win that award unless you're Saquon Barkley and you get 2,000 total scrimmage yards and you outshine Baker Mayfield, who sets records at the quarterback position. But I think Kyler Murray's going to win this award. I did pick somebody for defense as well, and we're going to go back to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we're going to look at Devin Bush. Those are the two guys that I think could possibly, you know, walk away with Rookie of the Year, and I'm rooting for them. I'm wishing them the best of luck throughout their careers. I'm huge fans of both. You know, I like Devin Bush. His tape was pretty impressive, and I liked Kyler Murray. Now, here we go, man. We're getting into the nitty-gritty. So here we go. The AP Coach of the Year. I got two nominees. First, we're going to start off with the Kansas City Chiefs. I have Andy Reid. Andy Reid, just one of the smartest coaches in the NFL. Just a guy who continues to innovate. And, you know, this is a regular season award anyway. So, yes, he doesn't quite have the playoff resume. You know, like, he's been to a Super Bowl. He's never won a Super Bowl. But you got to think, man, he's one of the greatest coaches to never win a Super Bowl. I feel like his time is coming, man. It just has to happen before he retires. But I'm going to go with Andy Reid as one of my two candidates for Coach of the Year. I think the Chiefs are going to be fine. I picked them to win their division over the Chargers. It was pretty tough, though. I did have the Chargers written down forever, and I pretty much changed that on the fly, like right as I was recording. But I just have a good feeling about Kansas City, and I'm going to go with Andy Reid. I'm going to go out on a limb, I guess. And then Doug Peterson. I made a whole video. I said it in the predictions video for the division winners. I made a whole video about this team on why they're going to be the team to beat that team being the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to go with their head coach to be Coach of the Year, and it doesn't seem too crazy either. Now for the AP NFL Offensive Player of the Year, I went with two nominees, of course, and one of them happens to play for the Carolina Panthers, and his name is Christian McCaffrey. I think arguably he's already, like, in my opinion, a top 5 running back. When you look at the running backs in the NFL, Christian McCaffrey definitely needs to be up there. He just does it all, man. He's a pretty good runner between the tackles. I think people overlook that because of how great of a receiver he is. You can line him up in the slot. You can do screenplays for him. Hell, he can even throw passes. Like, this guy is the complete package, and he is going to be a all-purpose yards king this season, barring injuries. And by the way, I drafted him number 2 overall in fantasy, so I do have some ties to Christian McCaffrey. I'm rooting for you, bud. I need you to carry me to the finals. And then finally, for the second nominee, I got to go with DeAndre Hopkins. I feel like he's going to have an insane season once again. This team did trade for Laremy Tunsil and Kenny Stills. I don't really think Stills is going to take away targets from Hopkins, but Stills is definitely going to get his moments here and there, and Tunsil is a good left tackle to have in there. Regardless of my thoughts on the trade, it's completely irrelevant, but I got to go with Hopkins, man. I think he's going to be in for another insane season. I did consider, like, Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams, and Alvin Kamara. I did consider those guys. I didn't go with them. I went with McCaffrey and DeAndre Hopkins. Now for the AP Defensive Player of the Year. Got to start off with those LA Rams. I got to go with Aaron Donald. I mean, this dude's a beast. He had 20.5 sacks from the interior of the defensive line. Okay, he's in a 3-4 scheme, and he plays on the inside. He lines up on a guard every play, gets double teamed like every play, and he got 20.5 sacks. Okay, and you look at him, he's 6'1", 280. Oh, he's undersized. He's not 340 pounds. Like, who cares? He got 20.5 sacks. Like, this dude's a freak of nature. He has all the pass rushing moves. He is a great player, a great athlete, well conditioned. I love his training videos as well. I don't really read into training videos a whole lot. I mean, it's cool to see, like, players, you know, at top peak, you know, during the offseason with their training and workout videos. Watch Aaron Donald's workout videos. This dude is insane. Like, he's insane. And then the second player, of course, how can you not consider Khalil Mack? Even though I'm a Packers fan and I'm, like, trained to hate the Chicago Bears, I gotta give it to him, man. I mean, even though he only had, and I say only loosely, okay, he only had 12.5 sacks. I mean, that tied with, like, Myles Garrett. Bradley Chubb had more, and he was a rookie. But anyway, that's not the point. It's everything else that goes into it. An elite pressure artist. He had a defensive touchdown as well, some forced fumbles, fumble recoveries. He does it all, man. It's hard not to put him up there. Even if he doesn't beat out Aaron Donald in terms of sacks, he's going to be able to do it all, man. It's as simple as it gets. And finally, the award that everybody has been waiting for. The NFL's most valuable player, the MVP. Jesus, man, I was stressing so hard over this award because I cannot predict the MVP for shit. I can't. It doesn't even matter who I pick because it's probably going to be 100% wrong, and it's going to be like, I don't know, Tom Brady or Drew Brees or Patrick Mahomes again, who I didn't even put on this list. But they're all going to be quarterbacks, so you're in for one, and one of those quarterbacks is going to be Carson Wentz. Yeah, get your jokes out about how he can't stay healthy and, foot-long Foles or Big Dick Nick or whatever you guys call them had to come in and save the day. Like, go ahead and get all your jokes out about how Carson Wentz can't stay healthy. I get it. Obviously, the Eagles believe in this guy. And look, for you guys out there who love prototypical sized quarterbacks, he's 6'5" and 237. And what do you know? He has durability issues, unlike the 5'11" Russell Wilsons of the world. So go ahead and get your jokes out. Ha, joke's on you. I think Carson Wentz is in for an insane season. This is the best offensive line in football. Yes, I said it. And they drafted Andre Dillard, who, in terms of pass blocking, is one of the best prospects I've ever seen since David Bakhtiari when he came into the league. So take that with a grain of salt. And I'm pretty good with the offensive line stuff, so I'm just saying. I'm going to pat myself on the back whenever I scout offensive linemen pretty well. But I think Carson Wentz is in for a big season. All the talent around him, it's going to be hard for him not to succeed. A great offensive line in front of him. I think Carson Wentz has all the tools to win the MVP. Definitely has one of the better supporting cast in the NFL. He's just got to go out there and execute, and I think as good as he is, I think he'll be able to. And then finally, incoming, oh, you're such a homer. Yeah, we did it, guys. We did it. Aaron Rodgers for MVP. I'm pretty sure I pick him to win it every year. A lot of it is just me being a Packer fan, but realistically, he could win it every year. He could. Now, last year, he had a quote-unquote down year by standards. He threw for only 25 touchdowns, but he only threw 2 interceptions as well. His completion percentage was like 61%, but if you watched Green Bay games, he threw the ball away a lot. Some people look at it as wasted possessions. Some people look at it as him not trying to take a hit and kill himself, literally. So, 2 years ago, he used to get criticized for hanging onto the ball too long and getting hit. And then last season, he goes to throw it away a lot, and people are like, oh, why are you throwing it away? You're wasting possessions. Well, which one do you want him to do? Take the hit and be put on IR and never play again, or throw the ball away, live to see another day, and protect your body? Like, which one do you want? You want him to kill himself, or do you not want him to kill himself? I don't really get it, but I think Aaron Rodgers is definitely going to be in consideration for the MVP. That's why I have him on this list for me personally. He has all the tools as well. I think, with a new offense, it's going to bring new life to him, and I think we're going to see a more steady Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he's going to have to play hero ball. I don't think he's going to have to be the superhero quarterback who has to throw Hail Marys and, win shootouts, and he doesn't have to do that. I don't think he has to do that this year. I think his defense can go out there and hold someone to 20, hopefully, and all you have to do is score 24. He's not going to be in a predicament like Patrick Mahomes was last year, where this dude literally had to put up 40 to give his team a chance to win. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to have to play hero ball. He's just going to have to play his game with Matt LaFleur in this new offense. But that's it, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And let me know your awards down below in the comment section. Peace out.